70 miles to the southeast of Galveston. They kept the wind speed the same. It's moving northeast at 13 miles per hour.
All right, Chad, we'll end it there because it is time to start Larry King. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Tonight, they're calling him a killer. Hurricane Ike is slamming Galveston Island and nearby Houston.
This really is a life or death matter. If you live in one of the evacuation zones, get out.
Highways are jammed, but millions are hunkering down as extreme winds and a towering wall of water could mean catastrophe for the Texas coast. We'll have up-to-the-minute, on-the-scene reports. Plus, Sarah Palin's first big one-on-one interview. Did she weather the media storm?
I think he's regretting not picking her now.
Right now on Larry King Live.
Good evening. First, there'll be 2 editions of Larry King Live tonight. This one, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, and we'll have another live edition at midnight, 9 Pacific, as we cover Hurricane Ike. We'll get into politics later. We've got correspondents everywhere throughout Texas. We'll start in Galveston, which is going to get hit the worst. Gary Tuchman, CNN national correspondent. Where are you and how bad is it? Okay,
no, I'm not hearing any of the,
We can't get Gary's audio. We'll check right back, Gary, as soon as we get it. Susan Candiotti is in Clute, Texas. Where is that, Susan?
Well, Larry, that's about 50 miles or so south of Galveston. We're also just inland from the coast of the Gulf of Mexico. Coastal community just to this side of us, and it's called Surfside. And just behind us, I want to give you a look right now. This area is home to a large number of chemical plants, including some run by Dow Chemical, BASF. They make chlorine here. There's liquid nitrogen here. And nearby, there's some natural oil reserves here kept by the U.S. government. Now, I want to tell you that earlier this day, they had to make at least 8 rescues by nearby Surfside Beach. They went out in boats to get these people out, people who had ignored mandatory evacuation orders. And they had to go in by boat, and some had to be escorted out on their own jet skis, a father and a couple of his teenage children, believe it or not. Now, also, they managed to get these rescues done by wading out waist-high, chest-high water. In one case, the police chief went out there, left his guns at the side, and waded out there and just wearing his police uniform to get these people out. They know that there is one person who has stayed behind. They tried to talk him out. He's over there now, and now the bridge that leads to that island community is underwater on the mainland side. So all the authorities are out of there. They had us clear out of there, and that man could very well be there all by himself. They are no longer sending sheriff's deputies out there. The winds are too high, and we're already experiencing power outages. And frankly, the weather isn't that bad just yet.
Thanks, Susan Candiotti in Clute, Texas. Now let's go back to Galveston. We think we've got Gary Tuchman cleared up. Where are you and how bad is it, Gary?
Well, Larry, it is very bad here, and this is Galveston. We're on the beachfront highway. The beach, the Gulf of Mexico, is right behind me, and Hurricane Ike is right behind me. This road usually crowded with cars, but the water has been coming up over the 17-foot seawall all day. The last hour, Larry, the conditions have deteriorated rapidly. 57,000 people live here. Most of them seem to be gone, and they better be, because the National Weather Service has said that anybody who lives in a one-family house that's only 1 or 2 stories high faces certain death if they don't leave. That's the words they use, certain death. I don't know if it's going to be certain death. I do know it's an extremely treacherous and dangerous situation. It's gotten worse just in the last 30 minutes.
Gary, forgive me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Galveston once nearly wiped out years ago in a hurricane?
108 years ago this very week, Larry, September 8th, 1900, the worst natural disaster in American history. Hurricane came almost the same path over Cuba, hit Galveston. Up to 8,000 people were killed. That was 1 out of every 5 or 6 people. 1 out of every 5 or 6 people who lived in Galveston were killed in 1900, almost destroyed the city. They rebuilt the city, and they built that seawall as a response to that 1900 hurricane.
I remember reading a lot about that story. We'll go to Baytown, Texas, and our man Ali Velshi who's CNN's senior business correspondent. They're making forecasts, Sally, that the total storm damage will be $11.8 billion, property $10 billion, 4.6 million in buildings hit by the path, 14.9 million in the path of the storm. Do you buy all this as being this bad?
Yeah, there's this flooding and the power that's going to go out, and these winds are going to cause a lot of damage for a couple of reasons. One is Houston is in the path of this, and there's a lot of expensive stuff in Houston. The other thing, Larry, is that Texas is home to 1/4 of the United States' refining capacity. 26 refineries, 13 of them are shut down right now. Here in Baytown, the biggest refinery on the entire continent is here. It's shut down. It converts 590,000 barrels of oil a day into gasoline. We've seen gas shortages around here. We've seen gas spikes in part of the country. There's one gas station we know of in Florida charging $5.49 for a gallon of gasoline. We don't know what the damage will be to the refineries, but they do need power, and they do need not to be flooded. And everybody tells me one thing about this storm. We're north of where Gary is, and we're east of Houston. The power's going to go out, and it's going to flood, Larry.
Wow. Anderson Cooper is in Houston. He'll be on following this program, hosting AC 360. How bad is it there, and how prepared are they?
Well, it's not bad at all at this point. I mean, we're just starting to get a little bit more wind, seeing a little bit of drizzle of rain, but it is, you know, the proverbial calm before the storm. At this point, we have been watching very closely, and a lot of folks here in Texas who have been sheltering in place. That's what they were told to do by the government here yesterday and today. Don't get on the roads. Don't clog the highways. Don't try to make a dash for it. Just stay where you are. This is a city which has seen hurricanes before, but not anything potentially like this. This is the first major hurricane to hit a metropolitan area since Hurricane Katrina. The big concern here in Houston right now, Larry, is not the storm surge. It's the heavy amount of rain that's going to take place here. That's going to cause some flooding, most likely in low-lying areas if it comes. But it is the winds that we are anticipating, hurricane force winds hitting this city head-on around 2 a.m. local time, around 3 a.m. on the East Coast, 4 a.m. It may be at its worst, 3 a.m. local time here. A lot of high-rise buildings, Larry, as you know, in Houston, they got hit pretty hard in Hurricane Rita, where we expect to see a lot of broken glass and see that glass maybe flying through the air. So folks are being told to stay indoors as much as possible. Right now, I mean, it seems like people are ready. The news reports have been on 24 hours a day about this storm. People have been watching it all day. You still see some people just kind of walking around on the streets, kind of taking pictures, just looking at the city, because it's pretty much empty on the streets, and you don't get to see that very often. But hopefully they're going to get to shelter pretty soon, because you can sense this storm is coming, and it's coming fast.
Anderson Cooper in Houston. A very important baseball series affected by this. Houston's playing the Chicago Cubs. They've canceled tonight, of course. They've canceled Saturday. They're going to try maybe to play a doubleheader on Sunday and a single game Monday. We're at the end of the season. These games important to both teams. More on Ike next. Stay with us as he smashes ashore.
Stone Pictures presents Miracle at St. Anna. In 1983, Hector Negron killed a man. In his home, they found a priceless artifact.
What's it doing buried in the bottom of your closet?
It was a clue to a mystery that began in World War II. Miracle at St. Anna is one of the best films of 2008. Director Spike Lee delivers a classic of epic size and scope.
No, I'm the only one who knows.
Miracle at St. Anna. Rated R. In theaters September 26th.
Some people go through life following Plan A. It's predictable, expected. But my plan is to do more. To work on my terms. To open up new perspectives. To find a competitive advantage.
Welcome to Plan B from Brother. Our inkjet all-in-ones make your biggest ideas look even bigger. It's the smarter way to work in color.
My plan is to write my success story every single day.
Make the smarter choice. Plan B from Brother.
We've heard a lot of talk about change this year. The question is, change to what? To me, change is a government that doesn't let banks and oil companies rip off the American people. Change is when we finally fix healthcare instead of just talking about it. Change is giving tax breaks to middle-class families instead of companies that send jobs overseas. Change is a president who brings people together. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message because this year, change has to be more than a slogan.
Is the jar more beautiful than the results? Not in this case. Neutrogena Anti-Wrinkle Intensive with Retinol SA smooths even the deepest wrinkles. So choose beautiful in the jar or in the mirror.
I'm Roland Martin, just 7 weeks to Election Day.
CNN this Saturday and Sunday night.
Are the issues most important to you, or will it be age, race, and gender?
Roland Martin, a CNN election special. CNN Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
CNN starting Monday, an American morning special. The most news in the morning. Inside America's classrooms, bullying parents, teachers forced to dumb down grades, what you need to know about your child's education. Broken schools. American morning. CNN starting Monday.
We're back with this special early edition of Larry King Live. We're going to go back and check with Chad Myers. He's been with us throughout the day, CNN meteorologist, severe weather expert. Chad, could Galveston go underwater?
Absolutely. I would say probably, well, I don't know. I won't say a percentage because it's over 90-something%. There probably will be 12 square blocks that will not go underwater. And here's why. When you get a surge like this, this will be catastrophic flooding. Not so much from the ocean over here because of this seawall that they built, but this little green strip of land where Gary Tuchman is, that's the only area of Galveston that may not go underwater. There will be 15 to 20 feet over the rest of the island, all the way flooding from the backside around. Yes, there'll be splashing here, and there'll be good pictures from the seawall, but the water is going to get into the bay, and it's going to flood the entire area here along the bay. Think about like taking 1 billion gallons of water and throwing it into this bathtub. Well, this bathtub is just going to splash everywhere. The water's going to go up, north, south, east, west, through all of the creeks and streams and some of these areas here. Now, if you just get a little bit farther off to the east here, there's going to be 30, potentially 30 feet of water in some of these areas on the other side of High Island. Port Arthur, Texas, probably 15 to 20 feet as well. Haven't talked a lot about this, but this is going to catch a lot of water too, all the way up to Beaumont, underwater in many, many places, Larry.
Wow. Gary Tuchman, back in Galveston, to your knowledge, has everyone left?
Most people seem to have left, Larry. Earlier today, when we could still do it, we went around Galveston, and I went up and down scores of blocks. Almost every house was evacuated. We did see a few people sticking it out. I saw a couple arguing about whether they should leave. The woman said, I want to get out of here. The man said, let's wait a little longer. I don't know if they ever left, but it seems like most of the 57, 60,000 people live here in Galveston are gone, and if they're gone, they're smart, because, as Chad just said, this is going to be a terrible event for the city.
When are you going to leave?
Well, we're not leaving yet, Larry, and I'm going to tell you why. We're not in a 1- or 2-story building. We can't show you now because it's so dark out, but we are staying at a hotel that's right on the beach, 15 stories, built like Fort Knox. It's on top of a small mountain, basically, on top of hills. It's very high up. It's surrounded by moats. It was built specifically to withstand this type of hurricane. So there's lots of members of the news media staying there, also police from the city and emergency operations officials. We're all in the hotel, hunkered down together.
Stay safe. Rick Sanchez, the anchor of CNN Newsroom, is in La Porte, Texas. Where is that, Rick?
La Porte is about southeast of Houston. The significant thing about La Porte is, Larry, it's right on Galveston Bay, and that's why this story today has turned into a bigger story, because we're looking at a worse storm than we were looking at yesterday. Yesterday, we were thinking the storm was going to have an area of impact probably around Freeport, which may be about 40 miles away from where we are. Now it's looking like the eye, as you've been seeing from reports from Gary, it's really coming up right through Galveston. Well, what's after Galveston? Galveston Bay. So what you have is you have water being pushed from a large body into a smaller body, which is Galveston Bay, into even a smaller body, which is the Houston Ship Channel. So all that water is going to be pushed into this area. So all these communities where about 3 blocks from where I am, you would actually find Galveston Bay, that water is going to be pouring into this community. And that's why 90% of the people in this area have now evacuated. That's why this town and all the others along the bay are now, and there you see a police officer running by. They've enacted a curfew that's going to be 5 a.m.
You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out, Rick. Chad Myers, back to you. Does this compare to Katrina?
In property damage, no. And that's simply because of what Katrina did to Bay St. Louis and Waveland. And then, after the storm was all over, what the waters did from the levees into New Orleans. And that was hundreds of billions of dollars in damage. And I saw you and heard you say this number earlier. Just for property damage alone, it's hard to read, but that's $10 billion. And this is a census tract. Everywhere that there's a census tract in red, that's $1 million of damage or more. Look what that's centered, Larry. That's centered right over Houston. And all the way up, that's Dallas. This is not going to lose all that much intensity as it comes on shore. That's why Houston, the big buildings of Houston, are in so much trouble when it comes to those winds of 95, 100 miles per hour later on tonight into tomorrow morning.
Wow. Rick Sanchez, we cut out of you, and we had not finished hearing what you had remaining to say about everyone's gone from LaPorte. Again, we lost you, Rick. Susan Candiotti, has everyone left Clute, Texas?
Pretty much so. It's like a ghost town. I wouldn't say so much. You know, Clute, they said 70% of the population of this county, it's called Brazoria County, has cleared out because they've been under these evacuation orders for several days now, so they've had time to leave. Especially over on that island community, that was the sticking point I was telling you about earlier. Despite the evacuation orders, they had at least 8 people they had to get out by boat and by jet ski today, people who ignored it. And, you know, you ask the police chief, why? Why don't they leave? You know, the storm surge is expected to be so high here. They're only, Larry, 4 feet above sea level. And then these homes that are built on stilts maybe brings the first floor up to 14 feet. And if you're talking about a storm surge of 18 feet or higher, obviously these people would be in trouble. But the police chief says it's hard to convince people to leave their property. They love these homes. They figure it's on their own property. It's their place. Try to get them to leave. Some will, some won't. But it is like a ghost town, and they think only one man has stayed behind in that coastal community of Surfside just over the bridge.
Thanks. Thank you so much, Susan Candiotti. Politics and Sarah Palin next, and we'll continue to watch Hurricane Ike with updates throughout the show. Don't go away.
Anything help these itchy allergy eyes?
Get fast relief with Visine A. Why just rely on allergy pills? Visine A goes right where you need it, relieving itching and redness in minutes. Visine A, fast relief for itchy allergy eyes.
Hey, you should look at this.
What?
Your PAD isn't just poor circulation in your legs causing you pain.
It isn't.
Mom, it more than doubles your risk of heart attack or stroke.
I didn't want to worry you.
You need to read about Plavix. If you have PAD, Plavix can help protect you from a heart attack or stroke. Plavix helps keep blood platelets from sticking together and forming clots, the cause of most heart attacks and strokes. Promise you'll talk to your doctor about Plavix?
If you have a stomach ulcer or other condition that causes bleeding, you should not use Plavix. When taking Plavix alone or with some other medicines, including aspirin, the risk of bleeding may increase. So tell your doctor before planning surgery. And always talk to your doctor before taking aspirin or other medicines with Plavix, especially if you've had a stroke. If you develop fever, unexplained weakness, or confusion, tell your doctor promptly, as these may be signs of a rare but potentially life-threatening condition called TTP, which has been reported rarely, sometimes in less than 2 weeks after starting therapy. Other rare but serious side effects may occur. Attention Plavix users with poor leg circulation, known as PAD. Your condition may put you at 2 times the risk of a heart attack or stroke. Plavix helps you stay protected. Whether you're feeling leg pain or not, your risk never goes away. Help stay protected. Stay with Plavix.
Larry King Monday night. Meghan McCain on her dad and why she's obsessed with Sarah Palin. Larry King Live. CNN Monday night, 9 Eastern.
Have you been told you can't get high-speed internet where you live? Now you can. With HughesNet, high-speed internet by satellite. With the fastest speeds ever offered. Why settle for less? HughesNet uses advanced satellite technology. Not your phone line. There's no dialing in, no tied-up phone lines, no missed calls, and no more waiting. You'll download files in seconds, check email instantly, and surf faster than you ever imagined.
The key benefit for me is the speed.
This is so much faster for me than dial-up was.
It's freed up a lot of my time.
Watch this. This is HughesNet. This is dial-up. If you're on dial-up, guess what? You're still waiting. Why settle for dial-up because of where you live? High speed is available today. With HughesNet,
Get free standard installation when you order now. Call 1-800-630-5449 or visit 44hughesnet.com.
The O.J. Simpson trial, headline news at CNN.com/live, Monday, noon Eastern.
Now let's go political with Paul Begala. Our panel's all in Washington, Democratic strategist, author of Third Term, Why George W. Bush Loves John McCain. Susan Molinari, former Republican member of Congress, was an advisor to Rudy Giuliani's 2008 bid and is a supporter of John McCain. Maria Cardona, former senior advisor to Hillary Clinton's campaign, now supports Senator Obama. And Terry Holt was national spokesman for the Bush-Cheney re-election campaign in 2004, is a supporter of John McCain. Paul, how did she do? I don't even have to tell you who she is.
Yeah, you know, I watched that interview even as a Democrat, and I saw someone calm, confident, in command, comfortable. The problem was that was Charlie Gibson. Then we saw Governor Palin of Alaska. And, you know, I don't fault her for not knowing much or caring much or being interested much in foreign policy. I think you could probably be quite a good governor of Alaska or many other states without that knowledge. But it is a little shocking that John McCain would pick someone who doesn't even know, like, President Bush's doctrine on preemptive war and preventive war to be his vice president. I mean, it does give the lie to the notion that this is country first.
Susan?
It's clearly a political pick.
Susan, what do you think?
Well, I think you know, she did a phenomenal job. I think the fact that the front page of every New York newspaper didn't say, you know, she blew the race, she made major gaffes. You know, we do have a gaffe watch for one of our candidates, whom I actually have genuine affection for, Joe Biden. He's a great senator, but we have gaffe watch for him. She didn't make gaffes. And the Bush doctrine, let me just say something, Larry. We are not all as brilliant as Paul Begala. I asked a significant amount of friends I had. I didn't know what the Bush doctrine was. It could be, you know, 4 or 5 things with regard to Bush's foreign policy when you're talking about the Bush doctrine. Is it promoting democracy abroad? Is it, you know, preemptive? I mean, there were things that we could all interpret as to what the Bush doctrine was. So I think she did a phenomenal job. I think a lot of pressure was on her in that we're still spending days and days talking about how she did. And the fact that, you know, she made not one mistake and made some really good and glorious points shows that she's in it to win.
Maria Cardona, well, let's have you watch this clip and comment. ABC's Gibson covered a wide range. At one point, he wondered if it was sexist to ask whether the governor could do it all. Watch.
Of course you can be the vice president and you can raise a family. I'm the governor and I'm raising a family. I've been a mayor and have raised a family. I've owned a business and we've raised a family. When people have asked me when I was governor and I was pregnant, gosh, how are you going to be the governor and have a baby in office too? And I replied back then, as I would today, I'll do it the same way the other governors have done it when they've either had baby in office or raised a family. Granted, they're men, but do it the same way that they do it.
Maria, how well does she handle that?
Now, I think she handled it well. I mean, I do think that for sure, if she had been a man, that question would not have been asked of her. So I think in that respect, it is something that we have to look at, and we have to understand that this is a choice that she made. This is the choice that she made for her family, and no one should judge it. I'm a working mother. It's a choice that I made for my family, and no one should judge me on that. I think that ultimately, though, what people should judge this ticket on is on what policies John McCain is going to follow. Again, I will repeat what I've been saying from the very beginning when she was picked. This is not about her. It is about the fact that a McCain administration will continue the failed policies of the last 8 years for another 4 years, and that's what the American voters and the American people don't need.
Terry, watch this clip. Charlie asked her if whether she's prepared to be a heartbeat from the presidency. Watch.
When he offered me the position as his running mate, the first thing I said to him was, if you really think that I can help the ticket, if you really think that I can help this country, absolutely, I want to do this with you.
And you didn't say to yourself, am I experienced enough? Am I ready?
I didn't hesitate. No,
Doesn't that take some hubris?
I answered him yes, because I have the confidence in that readiness and knowing that you can't blink. You have to be wired in a way of being so committed to the mission that we're on, reform of this country and victory in the war. You can't blink. So I didn't blink then, even when asked to run as his running mate.
Terry Holt, didn't that take some hubris?
It took courage and confidence, and I think that's what we need in a vice president, certainly what the American people expect from their leaders. You know, we've had, over the last few election cycles, we've had security moms, we've had soccer moms, now we have hockey moms. When is it going to dawn on people that the American woman and people that run for office have to make a real connection with the voter in their lives? And so many of these politicians today don't make that connection. This woman came off as qualified and capable and articulate, and on top of everything else, contrary to most politicians in this country, people like her. I think that she did really well last night.
Paul Begala, does it matter, because vice presidents and presidents can disagree, that that Senator McCain favors stem cell research and she does not, that she favors no abortions in any case, he would favor abortion for incest and rape? Does that matter?
I think not enormously. I think it is misleading, though, for Senator McCain to be running a commercial that says he and his running mate support stem cell research. Every pairing is going to have some disagreement. There's no doubt that Senator Obama and Senator Biden have voted against each other on any number of issues, and I think that's okay. But I think it's very important not to mislead people. And for Governor Palin, who was the queen of earmarks. I mean, her state is a welfare state. Her state gets $1.84 back from the federal government for every dollar they send. They get more money from you and me than any other state in America per capita. That's okay, I guess. But then she campaigns with McCain saying she's against these earmarks. She brought home so much pork she got trichinosis. So that's what I don't like, is the hypocrisy of this ticket.
We'll have Susan respond after we come back. Lots more weather coverage coming as well. In fact, we'll have a hurricane update and then continue our Palin discussion right after the break.
Nearly 400,000 in Texas.
More than 250,000 in California.
From the Aloha State of Hawaii
to the Free State of Maryland.
Hi, I'm Montel Williams. The PPA buses, sponsored by America's pharmaceutical research companies, have been to all 50 states, helping more than 5 million people who are uninsured and struggling.
Call 1-888-4PPA now.
Tell a trained specialist the names of your medicines.
You could get them for free or nearly free.
Because America's pharmaceutical research companies want to help.
In 1934, we introduced the first multivitamin multimineral to America. Today, Nutrilite is the #1 selling supplement brand in the world, and it's one of ours. We're Amway Global. And when you combine Nutrilite with Artistry, one of the world's best-selling beauty brands, we're also the #1 online health and beauty retailer in America. Now you know. To learn more, contact your Amway Global independent business owner.
When the weather is the news.
Look at how huge this storm is.
Once it's into the Gulf of Mexico, it has to hit something.
CNN is there.
ThermoSpa's custom designs hot tubs for therapy, along with entertainment, and today has engineered a revolutionary swim spa called the Spa Trainer, large enough to accommodate 12 adults. A powerful current allows you to swim endlessly, while the other side provides the ultimate hot tub experience. In the Spa Trainer, you control the intensity, and best of all, it's self-contained, so it's ready to use the day we deliver it. Call to receive a free DVD and a 48-page brochure to learn all about ThermoSpa's luxurious hot tubs and swim spas. Call now and we'll include free delivery, a $450 value, free chemicals, a $150 value, and a $400 cash coupon. This $1,000 offer is free, with no obligation, and is valid for 1 year.
Call 800-621-1300.
ThermoSpas, luxurious hot tubs made affordable.
Palin and Biden reveal. CNN Saturday and Sunday night starting 9 Eastern.
We'll be back with our outstanding political panel in just a moment. Let's go to Galveston, Texas, and check in with Rob Marciano our CNN meteorologist. How bad a night is this going to be, Rob?
Well, it's getting worse, I can tell you that, and we're not even that close to the eye. So it's been a pretty tranquil afternoon, with the exception of the surf. The wind and the rain have not kicked up until the last couple of hours, but that surf, which you can see somewhat, is still just churning and pounding off this seawall, which has done very, very well, surprisingly. 10 feet in spots, 17 in others, and boom, it's been hitting like that all afternoon. The core of it is granite, and that shouldn't be moving. The question is, will the water get up and over that and stay up and over that and continue to surge over the past this road, inundate the rest of the island that is seawall? A lot of people here have evacuated. My colleague Gary Tuckman been rolling around. He says it's been a ghost town, but a lot of the officials say that there's still about 40% of the people left. And if they are, we haven't seen a whole lot recently. That's good, Larry, because that means that they're in some sort of shelter and abiding by the curfew that was just instituted at 8 o'clock tonight and lasts till 5 o'clock in the morning.
Thanks so much. We'll be checking constantly with our team throughout the night. Rob Marciano in Galveston. Back to our panel. Susan Molinari, I want you to look at this. Sarah Palin is asked about Barack Obama's decision not to pick Hillary. Watch.
I saw you quoted somewhere as speaking rather admiringly of Mrs. Clinton, Senator Clinton, during the primary campaign. I think Obama should have picked her.
I think he's regretting not picking her now. I do. What determination and grit and even grace through some tough shots that were fired her way.
Susan, you agree with that?
I think this woman is so fast on her feet. I absolutely love it. I do agree with that, and I think that's why the Democrats are so nervous right now. They didn't pick Hillary Clinton. 1 in 5 women, Hillary Clinton supporters now are saying they're seriously going to vote for Senator McCain, and it's bigger than just that. If Sarah Palin gets elected vice president and we get to watch her do all those things we've talked about, you know, help run the country, lead as so many vice presidents do in so many areas where the president can't be at the time, and deal with the family and her stress, there is going to be a huge realignment of women voters to the Republican Party. The Democrats made a big mistake in not picking Senator Clinton, and no disrespect to Senator Biden, but this would have been strength, and it allowed us to really make the argument to those working moms and women throughout this country. And she has proven up to the task on so many levels.
Maria Cardona, on the other hand, many, many women, I think more women than less women, favor abortion. And here is what Sarah Palin was asked about that.
John McCain would allow abortion in cases of rape and incest. You believe in it only in the case where the life of the mother is endangered.
That is my personal opinion.
Would you change and accept it in rape and incest?
My personal opinion is that abortion allowed if the life of the mother is endangered. Please understand me on this. I do understand McCain's position on this. I do understand others who are very passionate about this issue who have a differing view.
All right, how do you react to that, Maria? Does that help or hurt?
First of all, let me just say that I think that Sarah Palin needs to spare us the false sentiment about Hillary Clinton. You know, she's somebody who actually criticized Hillary while she was on the campaign trail. And frankly, McCain, you know, was at one of his town halls and laughed when a questioner called Hillary the B word. So that is not something that is at all, you know, that we accept as truth from them. Secondly, on the abortion issue, I think that, you know, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about the issue in general. This is an issue that is important to a lot of women, the issue of choice. And she has said herself that she is, you know, as anti-choice as they come, as anti a woman's right to choose as any candidate can be. So I think at the end of the day, we have to look at these tickets for what they represent, the policies that they represent, and what they're going to offer this country if they get elected. A McCain-Palin administration will no doubt give us 4 more years of the past 8 years. What is astounding to me is that in the convention, neither her speech or Senator McCain's speech talked about the challenges that lie ahead and what real solutions they would offer us. And while Obama and all of the Democrats, that's what they did. So I think there's a stark difference here.
Terry Holt, I want you to watch this clip. John McCain was a guest on The View today, his 5th appearance on that show. He came in for a little bit of a grilling. Watch.
There are ads running from your campaign. One of them is saying that Obama, when he said you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig, was talking about Sarah. There's another ad that says that Obama was interested in teaching sex education to kindergartners. Now, we know that those two ads are untrue. They're lies. And yet you, at the end of it, say, I approve these messages. Do you really approve them?
Actually, they're not lies. And have you seen some of the ads that are running against me?
By the way, you yourself
but the
said
point
the
is,
same thing about putting lipstick on a pig. You yourself used the same
when
expression.
I was talking about a health care plan.
Yeah, but he talked about change. He wasn't talking about Sarah Palin.
Senator Obama chooses his words very carefully, okay? He shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have said it. He chooses his words very carefully. And this is a tough campaign.
Terry Holt, what do you make of that?
I don't know what to make of it, and I don't know whenever I walk past the kitchen and that show is on in the morning. I can't imagine wanting to do that with those two ladies in particular, but I think John McCain is quite frankly pretty brave for going into those circumstances. First of all, the question was assumed that it was a lie. You know, the whole circumstance, and sometimes these interviews, I think they're a little out of control. My sense is that John McCain is going to win because he's a serious candidate, not because he can jump up and down on a talk show host couch.
But she did have a point that the quote about kindergartens is not teaching sex to kindergarten kids. It's teaching dealing with predators.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a misleading ad.
Yeah, but this is all about destroying politics, destroying democracy. In my view,
and why support the ad?
Well, but every time somebody picks up and decides they're going to become a national figure, it's pick them apart until they're nothing but bones left. And the nature of politics today is so negative that even like Hollywood figures who never say anything bad about anybody wind up using curse words to describe how they feel about Sarah Palin from Alaska. I mean, it's just such a destructive political environment that I'm not sure that the American people care 2 cents about these kind of interviews.
All right, we got to get back to a hurricane. Thank you all very much. We'll be calling on you a lot, and we'll be back with more after this.
Hip, hip, on an island in the sun. We'll never...
Book now. Save up to 50%. Call your travel agent or 1-800-BEACHES.
There's all these people around the world looking for that right person. I figured there had to be one person out there that was right for me. And I was on a mission to find him, and I did.
Find the one who's right for you. Review your matches for free. eHarmony.com.
I'm Robert Shapiro. Over 1 million people have discovered how easy it is to use LegalZoom for important legal documents. At LegalZoom, we'll help you incorporate your business, file a patent, make a will, and more. You can complete our online questions in minutes. Then we'll prepare your legal documents and deliver them directly to you. So start your business, protect your family, launch your dreams. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Documents start with people who have ideas to share. To bring your ideas to life, choose Sir Speedy. We have the expertise and technology to create, print, manage, and distribute them wherever they need to go. Sir Speedy, we are documents.
It's a big moment in a boy's life when you can look him in the eye and you know that he's ready.
Samsung, the official HD TV of the NFL, and the amazing touch of color LCD and plasmas at Circuit City will have you ready to live the game and get no interest till 2012 on Samsung TVs $999 and up with your Circuit City card. Plus, all Samsung TVs are on sale now. And get your game piece to enter for a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 43 from Samsung, only at Circuit City.
Introducing generic prescriptions for less than $1 a week at Walgreens. For less than $1 a week on more than 400 generics. Get big savings on over 5,000 other generic and name brand prescriptions.
We joined and saved on John's prescription. It wasn't covered by our insurance plan.
Plus, we earn a 10% reward when we buy Walgreens brand products.
Stop by today to see how much you'll save and get $50 in free coupons. The Prescription Savings Club, only at Walgreens.
In February 2009, TV stations will broadcast exclusively in digital. Every TV that's hooked up to cable will still work just fine. If you get TV through an antenna, you can still keep your sets working. Just call 888-DTV-2009 to learn about a government coupon program for converter boxes, or visit dtvtransition.org.
Reminder, this is the early edition of Larry King Live. We will be back at midnight Eastern, 9 Pacific, with edition number 2, as we cover mainly Hurricane Ike. And speaking of Hurricane Ike, let's go back to Rob Marciano on the scene in Galveston, Texas. When is the worst going to come, Rob?
Well, probably the next few hours, Larry. It feels like we're getting close to the eye wall. The winds and rain have picked up. Right now, it's sustained at about 50, possibly gusting as strong as hurricane force. If you're near a building, at times that compresses the wind and accelerates it. And we've experienced that quite a number of times and have almost fallen over in those instances. But the wind direction has not changed. So that tells us that the storm really is on its same course. If you stand with your back to the wind, you look left, that's where the center of the storm is. And that's where it's been all day long. So it has to be heading this way. And that's what we expect to see the eye to come offshore sometime in the next few hours, overnight, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, Larry, it's been quite some time, and I'm sure others have talked about the history here in Galveston. 1900, that horrible one, the benchmark of all ones here in the U.S. But it's been since 1983 since these folks have seen a direct hit from a hurricane. So maybe memories are faint. It's what these storms can do. But I tell you one thing, this seawall has held up reasonably well, and I think mostly because the winds have paralleled the coast all day long. Once the winds begin to come on shore, and that will happen when it eventually makes landfall, then we'll get the big surge. Then we'll see water likely come up and over here, likely start to climb this hill, and that's when it could spell trouble for the folks who even live in the protected area of Galveston. Those who live on the unprotected area, Larry, they're already inundated. And some of those people earlier today, before even night fell, were trapped.
Thanks, Rob. We'll be checking back with you, Rob Marciano. Let's go to Clute, Texas, and Susan Candiotti. How bad is it there? Will you hang throughout the night?
We will. We'll be here all night long, Larry. I'm told about 50%, 70% of the people, rather, that live on the island community have left town. The authorities say they're happy about that. But we're also keeping an eye right behind me at all these chemical plants owned by Dow and BASF. You can see the flames still coming out from there. I'm told that's burning off waste. They virtually have shut down production or slowed it way down. And we've got a skeleton staff there. They say they've gone through all kinds of disaster drills, and they feel like that will be safe and can withstand hurricane force winds. We sure hope so. And in the meantime, this place really is like a ghost town. The authorities are not sending anyone else on the street anymore. If anyone gets into trouble, unfortunately, they will be on their own.
Boy, back to Rick Sanchez. He's in LaPorte, Texas. Spent a lot of years in Miami, so he says that I seen a lot of hurricanes. How bad is this one, Rick? We've lost Rick again. We're having a problem with Rick's audio, so we go to Chad Myers, our CNN meteorologist at the CNN Weather Center. He is safely in Atlanta. You've covered a lot of these. How bad is this one? How do you compare this one, Chad?
This one is probably going to be equal to Katrina's surge in many areas east of where the eye makes landfall. And we know what happened to Bay St. Louis and Waveland and Biloxi and Gulfport. Those areas were inundated with feet and dozens of feet of water. Here is the storm right here. I'll take the radar off for just a second, Larry. You can see the coastline. There's Rob Marciano. There's Susan Candiotti right there. And that right there, that's where our Anderson Cooper is. Put the radar back on, Dave. And the first bands are really now getting to our Rob Marciano. That's why he was seeing such big winds there. Let me show you this in 3 dimensions, because I think you're going to be really impressed with this eye wall. We're building this eye wall here. It's getting smaller. What does that mean? It's like a skater that brings her arms in. You know, when they bring their arms in, they skate a lot faster. Well, that's what's happening here. This eye wall is getting smaller, and the storm is going faster. That is not good news whatsoever, because this is what Houston looks like. Maybe you haven't seen it. Maybe you've never been there. Look at all of these buildings, guys. Look at this. It's just all over over. There's glass in every one of these buildings. And during the other tornadoes or hurricanes that we've always worried about these buildings. We've always worried about this glass in downtown Houston. It's everywhere, Larry, and it's going to be a long night. It's going to be a bumpy night. It's going to be things that go bump in the night all night long. Look at all these tall buildings here, and it's going to be a long duration, 6 to 8 hour event. It's not going to be a 15-minute wind. This wind blows and blows and blows, and you just wonder, when is it going to stop?
Thanks, Chad. By the way, if you want an idea of how big this storm is, Ike is just about as big as Texas. We also have breaking news near Los Angeles at this hour. A commuter train and a freight train collided earlier today. 4 people are confirmed dead. Dozens have been injured. It's near Chatsworth. That's right outside L.A. 350 people are believed to have been on the train. Rescue efforts have been underway for a couple of hours and continue right now, and it's not known what caused this crash. Back with more on Ike after this.
Yeah, we can do the neutral wall.
Traffic was still a couple things. Ja.
So, please, I'll get this.
Thank you.
Of course.
Was ist das?
Das ist wohl eine Kindergartenkarte. Auf Fluss. Good day. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care. I think that went well.
Yeah. Let me get this, okay? If you own your business, own the card that says so. The Gold Card, with rewards to reinvest in your business. American Express Open. Calling all business owners.
Maybe your own price, huh?
Yeah, they want $200 for a 4-star on the Vegas Strip. I'm going $190.
Oh, you wuss.
What?
Go lower.
$160?
Namby-pamby.
$99.
Now you're negotiating.
At Priceline, find half-price hotels every day. Save up to half off Expedia's best price and Hotels.com's best price on over 16,000 hotels. Find half-price hotels every day at Priceline.
Sometimes, when people are confronted with an extraordinary sales event, they can behave rather badly. So it's with some trepidation that we announce the Land Rover 60th anniversary sales event. Extraordinary offers on all models until September 30th. Remember, behave yourselves.
Wow, I did the math and lost 83 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I did the math and I lost 3 sizes. Look at me. I got great nutrition every day, I lost weight, and it was less than $3 a meal.
Start Nutrisystem today. It's the last month to get our special lock-in offer. Get a month's worth of breakfast, lunches, dinners, and desserts for less than $3 a meal.
Less than $3 a meal? You can't beat that. Great nutrition and you lose weight.
Tired of your grocery prices going up and up? Lock in your price guaranteed for all of 2008. This incredible limited time offer ends this month, so call now.
I did the math and I lost 100 pounds. You don't have to pay a lot to lose a lot.
Get a month's worth of breakfast, lunches, dinners, and desserts for less than $3 a meal.
Nutrisystem is a great value.
That's right. This special limited time offer ends this month. Act now and lock in your price for the rest of 2008. So call now.
Nutrisystem, now that's real value.
Roland Martin, a CNN election special. CNN Saturday and Sunday night, 8 Eastern.
Let's go back to Ali Velshi, our CNN senior business correspondent. He is in Baytown. How well are the authorities doing, Ali?
Well, listen, the refineries are shut down in many cases. 13 of 26 refineries in Texas have been shut down, including all of the ones around here, including the biggest one, ExxonMobil's Baytown refinery. But earlier, Larry, you were referring to the newest damage estimate, the prediction by analysts that it'll cost about $11.8 billion in damage. That doesn't count the increase that we're all going to pay for gasoline if there is damage to these refineries. We've already seen spikes over the last few days. In some cases, we've seen gas over $5, $2.49 at one place in Florida. So that's not counted in there. So this is going to be felt by Americans across the country, regardless of whether they are in the path of this storm or not. But a quarter of the country's gasoline is refined in Texas, much of it right around this Houston area. We're right at the entrance of the Houston shipping channel. There's going to be damage around there, but the refineries are shut down. They may flood. Power will go out. If they can get the water out, if they can get that electricity started in the next few days, the damage will be minimal. But it could be bad, and we're seeing shortages of gasoline in this part of the country. If there's major damage, that might start to spread further north, Larry.
Good point, Ali. Rick Sanchez, let's try him again in LaPorte, Texas. As we were saying, Rick, earlier, we've both seen a lot of these things, and the worst is yet to come, right?
Yeah, well, here's what makes this particular hurricane so significant. You know, I've talked about this before. All hurricanes have different patterns and different personalities. I was just on twitter.com/RickSanchezCNN. Thousands of people that I'm talking to are watching this newscast right now. Same question. Why is this wall of water such a big story in this hurricane? Here's why. We were thinking a couple of days ago that this storm was going to go to Freeport, which is west of where we are. Now it's looking like the eye of the storm is actually going to go, Larry, right through Galveston proper, then through Galveston Bay, and then in through the Houston Chip Channel. So what it's doing is it's actually moving all that water from one big body of water into a little smaller body of water into a really small body of water. So the key here is places like LaPorte, where I am now, which are next to the Galveston Bay, are being affected in ways that perhaps they hadn't been affected before. That's why all these evacuations are going out. That's why 90% of the people are gone, and I'm sitting in a downtown area that's just about desolate right now, and that's why there's a curfew in this area as well. They're expecting the water is going to be coming up. Not only here, Larry, but all the towns surrounding this area, all the way up the Houston Ship Channel into Houston proper.
Thanks so much, Rick. Susan Candiotti in Clute, Texas. Have you seen any people?
An occasional pickup truck or car will drive by, but the sheriff's office just told me that they are reining in their people, if you'll pardon the expression, because it's raining hard right now and the winds are starting to pick up, and they're not going to allow them to go out anymore. And frankly, even if we wanted to get back out to Surfside right there on the beach, we couldn't get there because the bridge on this side has water. It's at least under 7 feet of water at the end of that bridge. So they're really cut off from civilization over there, if in fact anyone is left. And we think it might be just one man who is over there, probably, hopefully listening to radio, some kind of communications. But so far, fortunately, no emergency calls, no calls of any injuries. So for the most part, people have paid attention to these mandatory evacuation orders. And you know, Larry, they've got a series of levees built up here, and they've also been shutting off some of the water through some of the grid systems here to try to prevent that storm surge from doing too much damage. But they are keeping an eye on this one, and they're quite worried about how they're going to make out.
Thanks, Susan. Gary Tuchman, I know you're going to be in a safe, big hotel that's kind of hurricane-proof, but are you a little concerned?
You know, we've covered these hurricanes. I myself have covered them for 26 years now, so we know what to look out for. We know what to be careful for. I will tell you, Larry, if this was a Category 4 or 5, we definitely would not be on Galveston Island right now. We know this is not going to be as huge a wind event as we felt before. There's going to be a lot of rain. It's a big storm. There's no question flooding is a major concern here. So we may indeed be stranded, and we're all ready for that. We have food and water. But as far as us being in danger on the 12th floor of this hotel we're staying on, with the police, with the emergency officials, with families who are actually seeking shelter in the hotel, we're very content that our 15 or 20 CNN people here will be safe. There's never a guarantee, but we're reasonably certain we'll be safe and we'll be able to cover the story. That's why we're here.
They better be. And we'll be back with some more moments on this Hurricane Ike. And don't forget, we'll be back again in a couple hours. The full force of Ike is about 5 hours away. We're sticking with it. More on what they're calling a killer storm next.
In my busy kitchen, I want nothing but the best, which is why Eggland's Best are the only eggs for me.
In my busy kitchen, I love Eggland's Best because of all the great nutrition. Vitamin E, omega-3s, lutein. They're the only eggs I make for my son, the chef.
Eggland's Best, the better egg.
Here at the phone company, you've been our customer for a long time. Now Vonage wants to change all that.
Well, over 2 million people have already joined Vonage.
Oh, really? Don't they miss having phone service?
Actually, with Vonage, you get award-winning service quality with unlimited local and long-distance calls, all for just $24.99 a month. Are you having trouble keeping track of what your phone company is charging? With Vonage, your rate starts low and stays low. Don't take my word for it. Listen to his former customers.
For me, Vonage is everything I want in a phone service.
It's dependable. It's perfect.
No nickels and dimes like the phone company.
Make the most from your existing high-speed internet connection. Get unlimited local and long-distance calling for only $24.99 a month, plus 25 features for no extra charge. Sign up now and get 1 month free.
Okay, but making a change is hard, and for over 100 years, the only thing we've changed is...
Your prices?
Whoa!
Call 1-800-425-8023 or go online to Vonage.com.
Nasiri, Love Sees No Color, the World Peace Collection. 12 inspirational songs. Songs of love, peace, and harmony. One man. One message, world peace. The Love Sees No Color CD and bonus DVD available in stores and online September 16th. 100% of all proceeds will go to the Love Sees No Color Foundation. Nasiri.com.
CNN Saturday and Sunday night. Sarah Palin, Joe Biden. Who are they? America's vice presidential candidates reveal. Back-to-back CNN special reports. CNN Saturday and Sunday night starting 9 Eastern.
We're back. Chad Myers, our CNN meteorologist, severe weather expert. If you're on the ground during one of these, does it matter if it's a Category 2 or a Category 3?
No, because it's 110 miles per hour, and Category 3 starts at 111, Larry. I can't tell the difference in 1 mile per hour. No, this is a very dangerous, almost major hurricane, but it's big because it was so large in width. This thing had, from the center, from 100 miles to the north, was hurricane force winds. So those hurricane force winds are now brushing the southwest coast of Louisiana. And it's now only about 60 miles from Galveston. And so Galveston about to feel some of the worst winds. And then we talk about this surge, this storm surge. And it's right from the eye and then a little bit farther to the north, because this is where all the wind is blowing this way. This bubble is right here. It's probably 3 or 4 hours from being here, right in that Gulf, Galveston Bay.
Why do you say almost major?
Well, because they call a major hurricane starting at a Category 3. Category 3, 4, and 5 is considered a major hurricane. It's just
1 mile an hour away from being a major.
Yes. It's all yes. That's why
I'm going to call it a major.
Go right ahead. You have my permission.
Gary Tuckman is in Galveston. Are you surprised to learn it's 1 mile away, Gary? It's not yet a major.
It's a minor hurricane, Larry, but if that wind increases 1 mile per hour, it will be a major. You know what? It feels like a major one to me, but yeah, I understand the differentiation. And as Chad could probably tell you, it's possible it could pick up that extra 1 mile. They'll never say it's 111. They'll say it's 115. That's the next designation. They're not that exact. But the fact is, it's a serious hurricane, and this is the moment of truth for the people of Galveston, Texas.
Because it's about 55 miles away, right?
Yeah, and we're thinking 3 or 4 hours, the eye will cross over here, and if it happens like we expect, we're going to have a little bit of complete calmness here. It's an amazing phenomenon. People don't experience it very much, but when it happens here, it will be an amazing feeling for the people of Galveston.
Thanks, Gary. Rick Sanchez, who's been through a lot of these. The eye is a fooler because long ago they thought it was over.
Yeah, well, that's the difference in this hurricane in particular, Larry, that we're talking about a storm that's going to a metropolitan area. You know, the thing about storms is it's not really so much about the size, it's the intensity and where it is when it makes landfall. if this thing were going a little south of us, it would be affecting a lot of cows that are part of the beef industry here in Texas. But it's not doing that. It's going through a major metropolitan area, one of the biggest cities in the United States. It's been a while since we've seen a storm actually do that. If you actually look at Katrina's path didn't really go into New Orleans. It was even west of it. It was the water that pushed into it. This time we're looking at a storm that's actually going up the Houston Ship Channel if it stays on its current trend. That's why it's so significant, and that's why so many people are being evacuated here, man.
I want to thank all of our people on the scene. They'll be there all night long. Rob Marciano and Gary Tuckman. Anderson Cooper's going to follow in a moment. Rick Sanchez, Ali Velshi, Susan Candiati, and, of course, Chad Myers manning the desk in Atlanta. Before we go, I want to tell you about our web extra. It's a tribute to one of our own, Larry King Live producer David Thayol. David was one of the heroes on 9/11 during the attack on the Pentagon. You want to see this, go to CNN.com/Larry King for my interview with David about that day and see why we in our country are so proud of him. And while you're there, check out Reese Witherspoon's guest commentary and download our latest podcast, Michael Moore. It's all at CNN.com/Larry King. And don't forget, about 7 weeks to go, Roland Martin takes a look at what really makes people vote the way they do. That's Saturday and Sunday, 8 p.m. on CNN. And we'll be back at midnight Eastern.